Join us this week with Kia's EV, where I'll show you some top tips and we'll take a tour through the car and a drive. They've got this exactly right. It looks a little bit like an EV5, a little bit like an EV9. They've got the same drivetrain throughout, and we'll talk about that once we're in the car. Under the bonnet there's the tiniest of extra spaces, just big enough for a large pair of gloves or all of those charging cables. Because as you know, under the bonnets of most cars these days there's not a lot to see. But have a look at the light arrangement. Then we've got the door handles. This is the lock button. That won't lock because the car's still on. And that's the emergency access. The keys are on the fob, like so. It's got a hidden door handle up the top, a natty sunroof, and plenty of space in the back. Getting in is a little bit of a faff. Down below there's just a little bin and some vents. You'll notice no USBs. That's because they're up here on the seats. This seat has slid all the way back, so there's not as much room back here as you might expect. Also, this seat is down as far as it'll go, so my feet don't quite fit under it either. This is a small SUV, so what you'd really have to do is ask the driver to move forward a bit and put his seat up, and then everything is sweet. And let's talk about this upholstery. I often feel a little guilty about something that's not real leather. Kia and a lot of other EV manufacturers are doing their bit for the planet by making all of this vinyl plant-based. It's not petroleum-based, it's plant-based. There's also yarns that are reused, plastic yarns that are reused. There's also fishing nets that are reused, and some of the plastic elsewhere is recycled. The headliner feels a little bit like wetsuit material, which I kind of don't mind. Maybe I have a kink I didn't know about. And these strangely designed headrests and seats that I know this is just really a handle to hold on to. Though this is front-wheel drive, as I said, you aren't going anywhere off-road. SUV this may be, off-road it is not. Then we come to the back. You can open it up using the smart tailgate function or a button or the thing at the front. Inside, it is spacious-ish. There is an underfloor compartment which is absolutely huge, and believe it or not, you could fit probably a full-size spare in there. One of the things contained therein is this little gadget. With the cover off, it looks like that. Where this one fits is here. You've got an external plug as well. The problem is, I now can't get this out. The instructions were not clear. I couldn't find the user guide. What I had to do was to close the car, lock the car, then unlock the car. I couldn't just press unlock. I've jumped in the front. The seat has slid forward. The front console has this natty place to put a tablet. You can make it bigger by doing that. But if you do, you can see that my arm can't go far enough back to actually type. And that's also not available in the base model. There's a generous phone charger with space either side. Kia's famous disappearing cups, USBs and 12 volt. I'll turn the car on. The dash comes to life, the air conditioning comes on. And of course I'm connected to Apple CarPlay. I had a lot of trouble connecting this to Apple CarPlay when I first got in the car. There is a head-up display which you can just see there. You can see the speed sign fluttering. Here on the dash, you'll see traffic sign recognition, which we're going to silence in a minute. This is the driver attention monitor. You can't see those flashing lights. Normally, it's just through the camera. To silence that awful overspeed warning, I'm going to press and hold, and you can see now a little mute has appeared. The reason we do that is because the speed sign recognition is wrong a lot of the time. The rest of the cabin is set up absolutely beautifully. For a change, I'm just going to start this properly. My foot wasn't on the, there we go. Ready to start driving, turn the steering wheel a little. we've got normal stalks. Hurrah! Unlike some brands we could name that have removed all the stalks, this one has kept them, and this dash looks like a perfectly normal dash, especially for a Kia Group car. The driver's door has a lot of controls on it for seat heating and cooling, seat memory, steering wheel heating, and then of course the window and lock buttons. And it's all tastefully highlighted with those little metal, well, plasticized metal trim. Just in case you're wondering where the head-up display comes from, it comes from in that little box. There's all sorts of things here, including Kia Connect, and that will connect to an app on your phone. The phone becomes things like a digital key. It can do a lot of other stuff as well. And the over-air updates also means that if your car was stolen, it could theoretically be deactivated. This is the highway assist system, which on this car is not working. These are the audio controls, and those buttons can be programmed for different things. Now, unlike the EV5 where these were touch buttons, this whole panel pushes and there's haptic feedback. So if I press that, you can feel a little thump under it. Let's go to the map. So this is the inbuilt map, but I'm not using that, of course. I am using CarPlay. In the center of these two large 12.25-inch displays, there's a smallish, maybe 6-inch, maybe smaller 5-inch screen, and that displays air conditioning, but it also has some of the air conditioning controls. We've got standalone air conditioning controls here, and that means that you don't have to go into the infotainment system. You can also use voice control. Finally, there's a rotary dial for volume and on-off for the radio and infotainment system. The first thing you notice is how unbelievably quiet the EV3 is. It is spookily quiet. Steering, it does change with modes, and you can alter that in the infotainment system as well, but it is extremely light. The ride, Graham Gambold has done a magnificent job tuning this suspension, which is not active in any way, for comfort as well as decent handling. The reason I love this car so much is that it does exactly what it says on the box. No more, no less. I'm just going to put this in sport mode, which it's now in. You'll see that the steering becomes very light. The traffic sign recognition currently tells me I'm doing 20, that I should be doing 20. I'm in a 70 zone. That's an example of how it's often wrong. It's going to put this back in normal mode now. Also activate the steering. Now this is supposed to be the highway assist system. It's not working, it's just telling me that it's smart cruise control. Kia have promised me they'll look into it and find out what's wrong. But there is definitely something wrong. I've mentioned the seat relaxing position. You can put the seat back and now there's a Niro. That is more or less a direct competitor to this. What? The one that just came over the lane, thank you very much. Who on earth would spend $65,000 on that when you can spend $65,000 on this? This charges faster. It's got, I think, more power. It's a nicer looking car. It's bigger. I can't see how Kia are going to sell any Niros, and they've fallen right off. I've done a couple of quite long trips in this, and it was absolutely fantastic on the highway. On the models that I've tested where the highway assist was working, which also includes automatic lane change, so the car will change lanes for you, the steering seems a little bit more precise than it does in this that's just got smart cruise control and lane centering. Now that we're back in town, I can talk about the new version of Kia's iPedal. Probably iPedal 3.0 or something, no doubt. And it's a smart iPedal, so it's not just on and off all the time. The most common misconception people have about electric cars is that they're all the same power, they're all the same output, and that all charging is the same. and all charging is not the same. The charging you get at home is up to maybe 11 kilowatts if you have a smart box. Otherwise it's something like 7 kilowatts. If you charge away, then you can go to ultra rapid DC charging, and that starts at 50 kilowatts, and the top ones in Australia are around 350 kilowatts. As I said before, that doesn't mean that's what your car's charging at. There is a trick too. If you navigate using the car's system, so not your phone but the car, to a charger, it will precondition the battery for you to charge at the maximum possible rate that the system will allow. So even if this wasn't 127.5, it still wouldn't be able to do 120 or 110 at 150 outlet if the system wasn't ready, if the car system wasn't ready, and also the infrastructure around the charger wasn't ready. First of all, you've got to find a charger. You've got to find one that works. And you've got to find one that doesn't have a line of people waiting to charge. This is going to take about half an hour to charge to a decent amount. This is one of the very few cars that I've had a really hard time trying to pick something out about it that I don't like. I get excited by sports cars, but that's not what I want to drive day to day. What I want to drive daily is something that is serene and comfortable. And with 563 kilometers worth of range in this top model, I could do a road trip. I could do a very comfortable road trip. I like the vehicle to load capacity, the fact that there's 2 plugs. You still only have about 3.7 kilowatts to play with, so you can't power your entire house. This doesn't have vehicle to grid or vehicle to home as yet, and I don't know if it's retrofittable. I see no reason why it wouldn't be. That's all this week for the Kia EV3. It is now one of my favourite EVs. Space in the back is a little tight once the seats swing to the driver's position for me, but I could put up with it. As always, hit like, leave a comment, and just on the little round thing to subscribe.